Welcome to Pew 610, where we encourage people to live out Galatians 6:10. My name is Jeff Frankel. I had the opportunity to interview Anthony and Gabrielle Hernandez, two members of a mission team that came here from San Francisco out to Salt Lake City and are now en route to Alaska. They have many talents, and you'll see it in this video, and they have a big heart, and you will also see that in the interview. Enjoy.
I actually talked about in our welcome today. 3 years, 9 months, and 9 days ago is when we first landed here. So it was January 27th. We drove in from California on that Sunday afternoon, the 26th. So we've been here for about 3 years, 9 months, 9 days. And that's kind of just the start of it.
Okay, so we're here with Gabrielle Hernandez.
Hello.
And really what I just want to ask you, like, you did a mission trip here to Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
Your very first trip, how did you feel?
Like coming out here?
Yeah.
How did I feel? A lot of uncertainties, like getting the call to come. Kind of felt like I knew what was coming, but it wasn't, for sure. So when we actually had the conversation with the Chavezes, it was totally fine. I was totally willing. I knew that there was a time and place to be kind of edged out of the bay, not in a bad way or anything. It was just like, God was just trying to take us to something new. And I prayed about it and got advice, and here we are. And it's been awesome. And I can't believe it's been almost 4 years.
Like when we first moved here, it was in January of 2020, before COVID really became a thing. So we came out here with the intention, and with the drive, to do things the way that we normally do, reached out to people in person, talking to them in person, asking if they do want to study the Bible, if they want to know what a relationship with God looks like. And then come COVID and everything just shuts down. So we go to doing things virtually, so Utah wasn't as shut down as a lot of other states were, but it didn't stop our growth. It didn't stop our movement. People were still able to meet us virtually, staying within the 6 feet. People still wanted to, understand what a relationship with God looked like. They wanted to increase their faith. And I'm super grateful that I've been able to be a part of that. In my time out here in Utah, even with one of the more the tougher mission fields that people say, being out here in Utah. So it's been fun. And again, I think there's nothing else I'd rather do. I'm excited to go to Fresno and to Alaska to see what it brings, and wherever else God might call me to go, after Alaska.
What is the difference between being called to go to Salt Lake and then being called to go back to Fresno, which is probably a little bit easier, but then to Alaska?
Yeah, I think the first word that comes to mind is faith. Not necessarily like, yes, me having faith in God, but God having a lot of faith in us. Just because, a lot has happened, in the last 4 years, and I can get in my head a lot as far as God not wanting to use me anymore. And so to see that God, God's faith in me is far greater than anything I could have in myself or in other people. So it helps me to put my trust in God a lot more. Just seeing how much faith he has to me to make his dream come true, which is the best gift ever. So
God is already there. He's prepared the field. There's people that do want to, have a relationship with him. And it's just really awesome. The people that we've seen, come into this church from the 13 that first arrived here to where we are today. It's not as fast of a growth as people may say, or 3 years, you guys only have about 40 people. So what, 10 a year? Yeah, but there's also other people that we've sent out to other churches to go strengthen other churches. Some people don't want to do this at a certain point, and they want to walk away from the relationship with God, and that's completely on them.
So you came here with 13. And I was here, I think my wife was the third person or so that became a member. And then we grew to about 60, maybe 65. And then we sent out a mission team, and always in transition, it seems like there is always a big shift. And so we went from 65 back down to 20 when it was all said and done with the people moving out. and then people just not sticking around because they liked the old group more or whatever, like their friends left. And so we have a reserve, we have a new evangelist come in, he's teaching, and so now we're like at 40. So like you said, you had this vision of what it was going to be like when you left from California to here. Like, did you think it was going to be hundreds of people?
I knew it would get there someday, but I wouldn't say that it was something that was going to happen within a year or within 2 years. You know, I think the San Francisco church, when I became a part of the San Francisco church, they were in their 5th year. They were just at 100. You know, I don't think they were averaging 100 people even yet. So, you know, as far as the growth that we've seen, again, just like you were saying, sometimes people were just sticking around for the people that were here, not necessarily for their walk with God or what they wanted to do, you know, in the relationship with God. So I'm excited to see when this does get to 100. You know, I'll definitely be keeping tabs. You know, we'll love to come to a service when they do break 100. You know, wherever I may be.
Why 100? Why is that significant? Just because it's a number?
I would say because it is a number. You know, I think again, just 100 is a milestone.
Yeah.
You know, like once you get 100, it's like, okay, cool, we can do 100. Let's go for 100 more.
I can tell that you have a servant's heart, even to the point where you're like, I just want to be used by God. Because today you sang. And then you did admin work. And then your husband was helping with sound.
Yeah.
And so were you guys the first ones here today?
Just about, yeah, almost.
And then you're the last ones to leave?
Yeah, just.
And then you're going to go to another meeting with some of the leaders.
Yeah.
And then maybe Tuesday when we get together, you'll have another meeting with. So you definitely have a servant's heart. And you're leaving when?
The 12th. So next Sunday.
How many days away is that?
7.
That's next Sunday. 7 days away. So why not take it easy now?
Why take it easy? I mean, for one, we got like a lot of planning to do, so there is no taking it easy.
Right.
But I think like completing God's work, I can see what you're saying. It's very tempting to want to slack off or rather not even just slack off, but stop giving your heart, which is a huge temptation for me. But to continue to give my heart. So even, you know, though these last 7 days, I can really want to be focused on, you know, getting the house together or, you know, cleaned up and all that stuff and just get ready to get out of here. But to continue to give my heart, I want to leave with, you know, a servant's heart, knowing that I left it all here as much as I could, if that makes sense.
How does that first year in your head play out?
The first year, from what I know in Alaska, it'll be an adjustment for sure. I think because it is a little bit further north, there are some time frames where it's darker the majority of the time, and then there's light a little bit longer. So, you know, like, how are we going to navigate that? You know, I like to be prepared. I like to, you know, have plans going into things. But when it comes to this, like, I just got to leave it all in God's hands and let Him work. You know, the best thing that I can do is adjust to the climate, adjust to the weather, adjust to whatever needs to be done. You know, like Paul talks about it, you know, to like the Jews that became a Jew, to the Gentiles that became a Gentile. To the Alaskans, I'm going to do my best to become an Alaskan, you know, just to be able to reach out to people, you know, and just give it my all, give it my whole heart, and just see where God takes it from there. You know, I would love to set goals for myself, you know, as far as like, you know, reaching out to more married couples with my wife and I, and see how many married couples we can bring into the church, you know, individual people as well. So, you know, who knows? But again, it's going to be a lot of adjustment for sure. I think it snows a lot more in Alaska than it does here in Utah.
Maybe.
And after shoveling snow for one winter here at a home with the Hardins, definitely going to invest in a snowblower this year. This coming year when we go to Alaska, because there's a lot in the back. But I think overall it'll be a lot of adjustment, but something that I'm really looking forward to. Just get to understand the culture out there and just, you know, see what Alaska is like firsthand as opposed to what people are saying.
So is snow your biggest concern out there?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's my biggest concern. Because depending on where we're living, again, I don't know where we're going to be living, how close we're going to be to people. I would say the biggest thing is probably just adjusting to the light, to the time, how long it'll be dark and how long the sun will be. Because in the winters, you won't get much sunlight. So just kind of adjusting to that, like the sunlight and darkness can affect our moods a lot. Like if someone's in a gloomy state where it rains all the time, you're not getting much sunshine, it can be a little bit easier to not be as energetic. When there's a lot more light, then there's a lot more to look forward to. You got more things that you can do. Me personally, I love to golf, so I always crack this joke. Moving to Alaska, I get to golf at midnight over the summer, just because the sun is out that long. I think sometime in June when we move over there, the longest day of the year is somewhere in the June 20th. It's gonna be 22 hours of sunlight, so blackout curtains for sure. Come the summertime. But again, the snow never stopped us here. I don't think it'll stop us in Alaska. Like if you got to go on foot, then by all means. If I got to spend more money on tires, then we'll find a way to get the tires or the chains, to get to where we need to be. But I think it'll be exciting and just fun to just learn the culture and be able to adapt to it.
If you were going to give advice to somebody who decided that they wanted to go on a mission team, be a missionary,
just as far as like if they got called to him, like what would be like a good piece of advice? I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Quick, like something small, not like big, momentous or.
Pray. I think one of the biggest things for me is just making sure that it's from God and not people. And then I think lately what I've been really trying to cling on to is making sure that it's from God and not people. But like, this is an adventure. Like Jesus never stayed in one place. And so the fact that I get to imitate that, now there's some disciples who stay in one place, which is fine, but for me, like, I think being able to like go on this adventure with God, like, and get to go see the world a little bit, is awesome. I like literally when I first became a disciple, Alaska was the first place I said I did not want to go to. And God's like, sure, bet. So, and now I'm going. And so I just think it's just an adventure with God, and I just get to do it with him. And like I said, I get to have my best bud on the sides, or on my side. Jeez. But yeah, so.
Did you not want to go there because it was cold?
Absolutely.
Okay. What is your greatest takeaway from this experience?
Greatest takeaway from being in Salt Lake City, I would say that it can be done. No matter what doubts I had at the beginning, there's always going to be someone looking to have a relationship with God. The Bible talks about the harvest being plentiful, but the workers are few. So I think, again, it's just putting yourself to work, and just understanding that there are people that do want to know God and to, know what the Bible says and all these things. And again, it's just up to us to go out there and do it. And again, that it can be done.
Let's run a couple verses of Trouble Come My Way.
It ain't no life, so what complicates the situation? Have expectation on being a living demonstration. Before Pac, I knew God could only judge me, so I stay in the light. Though the dark side likes to nudge me, but both they only interested in my story as a failure. And when I